Peasants, I am Louis Cadetti. And this is part 2 of 3. It picks up where we left off in my last video explaining how to sculpt form. This area right here I got too dark, so if that ever happens, you go in with eraser again. And don't go down to the paper, try to go down to the value, right? So I'm not getting it as dark as I'm sorry, I'm not getting as light as the paper. I'm trying to get the right value in there because this, and think about what you're doing again. We talked about getting the, bringing this up a little bit, right? Because I made it too dark, right? There we go. So I'm just gonna bring that up and then I can spend my time and try to shape this piece. Dad, be careful. Careful, me boy. This is going to fall, me boy. Stay. Okay? Anyway. All right, so from here, we're just simply going back over all this stuff and really making sure that everything turns. And so you have to go back over it a couple times, right? But these are, you should be thinking about the shape and soft edges and sharp edges. Where is it soft and where is it sharp? This is very soft here because it's a very fleshy part, whereas let's see, under the breast, for example, this is a sharper cut right here. So this is going to be a sharp line. The breasts are going to be much softer. Let's start working on the breast just a little bit. And just so it doesn't look so weird, I'm going to work on the nipples. And I'm just going to get an impression of the nipples. Just bring that value down some. I'm just looking at the everything very simple at this stage. And then I can start hatching out with the eraser. There we go. And then for the breast, what I like to do is once we have that terminator edge right there, that's where the shadow edge stops, right? Then I put a couple marks going across the form going up to make that turn, to make it a little bit softer. So we want sharp and like this is too sharp right here on the fleshy side of the boobie, right? It's too sharp. So what I'm gonna do is I can flow with the form like this. Right? I can slowly just soften it up. And then what I can do is come up just a little bit with a couple marks. Just a couple marks. And sometimes I like putting a little bit of tooth on it and it kind of comes up like that. Just a little bit up into the nipple. And then this top part right here, you're gonna have just this area, which we wanna keep this very light. We don't wanna overdo this. Most people overdo this spot up here, but I'm just going to lightly go across it like this. And so we're flowing up here. I'm not sure y'all can even see these marks really. But we're kind of coming up here and then it gets to the clavicles. You can kind of put these little accents up around where the clavicles are, but you do not want to overdo that. So I'm just putting that there just very lightly. And then I'm going to put a couple marks, especially around this area right here, just denoting the form kind of going up. Just a couple, and you want those marks put down with some degree of confidence, but you don't want to, again, you don't want to overdo this. You can go too far with it. All right, so then you have kind of the rib cage kind of coming across. So I might put some diagonals coming across this way, and there's the clavicle kind of up top right there. And then up here, there's always a nice shape up around here. Sometimes I like to slightly outline this shadow shape here, but it's not necessary. You can also just put it in with your pencil and then sculpt it just a little bit with your eraser. This actually, when I put this shape in, I realized that this is too small right here and it just needs to come out just a little bit. And so that's what I was talking about. When you put new information in, oftentimes we see that things need to change the large proportions. That's why we're always looking at the large proportions. We're always trying to understand what we're looking at. I want to reiterate, this goes with sight size. It goes with any method like sight size, comparative measurements, Loomis method. Those are the three methods. Sight size and comparative measurements should be going like in tandem. You should be doing both of those at the same time. Always thinking about what you want to do with this stuff. All right, so we're supposed to be juggling a lot of things all at once, not just one thing. So I'm going to slightly darken this, maybe bring a little bit across here like that. This is a little bit too much like a knob, and so I am going to sculpt it with my trusty eraser very easily. I'm sure I will not make a mistake. All right, so and this has to be soft. This is a soft area, so I'm thinking of softness, but Just because it's soft does not mean that there's no shape. We have to be thinking about the shape. Every shape is going to have a value and it's going to have a shadow edge. Okay? It's going to have a shadow edge. I'm going to imply right here the form coming up on her other side. And so this actually looks absolutely horrible. So sometimes when that happens, we can go back and it looks so bad. Give me a second. In fact, I might cut that part out. Actually, I know I won't because I'm going to be too lazy for it, but that's okay. Look, one of my goals here is also to show you when you make mistakes, which I just did, is the mentality you have to carry going forward and how to correct them. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean we're screwed, and it's good that you see me make mistakes because for the most part, most of the time, at least I catch them and I'll try to fix it. But this is essentially how I go about it right here. And so I would work the breasts probably a little bit more, and you know, we can start putting accents on to kind of pop the figure forward some, but we do this through careful observation, study of the form. As you can tell, I'm going kind of all around. Let's bring this out a little bit. I'm not going to bring it down to the paper, at least I'm going to try not to. Bring that out some, and then let's shave that part off so we're thinking about exactly what's going on here. Normally there's kind of like a sharper area up around the shoulders right here, up around here. I haven't given much time to the face. I will in a little bit, but like down here there's some, which is quite nice. So we can kind of bring this in. Going down here, let's darken this piece in just a little bit. We're going to go with the leg right here. Okay, you see what we're doing, and we're thinking about what we're doing here. All right, and so it's kind of coming in, and then there's another part right here that's coming across like this. Okay, and then we can come across, actually, and there's another one. It's nice because you can get opposing diagonals here, which is quite nice, right? A couple of different types of diagonals. And then what we can do, we can come across, and this is my go-to hatching, which is kind of the diagonal with my right hand and such. And so just slowly darkening this and really trying to understand the form and the shape and everything. This kind of comes out some, denoting how the thigh kind of, that's the muscle right there, right? That's the shadow falling across the muscle. We have to think about that. Let's work, I'm gonna darken this, and let's work this edge right here of the thigh, which would be her left thigh. It's on our right side. And my fingers are, in fact, cramping. That is never a good thing. Here. And then this piece right here is actually going to drop down just a little bit. This is going to drop down just a little bit. All right. And this is going to, in fact, darken some. Okay. There we go. And then let's darken this. And I'm squinting down to do it. It kind of came in there. That's okay. That's fine. We can, actually we could make use of that if we wanted, because it does darken just a little bit, so I'm going to go with the form here. And let's see if we can tie that in. Right, we can tie that in. I'm just going to put kind of that slight edge on it. I'm squinting down. I'm going to try to make this a little bit more even. Something like that. So we kind of made use of that quote-unquote error, which you will find I never make mistakes. Okay, and then let's darken this some. So I'm going in all different directions right here, guys. And so, look, the idea is you want to be deliberate in what we do. Knowing what direction to go does take some time, and sometimes I do mess up. And but my mentality when I mess up over something is, okay, learn it and try not to do that the next time. But if I do, try not to do it the time after that. And eventually I stop doing it. And sometimes you'll find that you do go backwards in your work. Sometimes you find that you kind of became lazy and you lost some of what you had. And so, but the fact that you did it to begin with is proof that you can get it back. And so that's the mentality to take. Never get discouraged with this stuff. Always stick with it. And, you know, and that's how I go about really modeling this. So, all right, so from here, we're gonna go to the hands and we're gonna balance this off. As you can tell, I'm trying my best to work all around while doing an explanation. While it's already gone on pretty long, I am aware of this, but again, there's so much information. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to juggle for you guys right here, but it does take some time, and I really do. This is a video I've wanted y'all to understand or I've wanted to do this for quite some time, right? This video, all right? Because modeling and how to model, how to sculpt is something very important. So yeah, let's, I could continue darkening this. Let's just lighten this up a little bit. So, you know, you might learn that what I did before wasn't quite okay, and that's fine. You can just go over it just a little bit, just hatch it out some, and then redo it and put some solid marks on or whatever. So we can just go back and rework the form that way. This isn't that well worked up right now, but that's okay. We can always come back and fix it. So essentially, guys, I mean, this is how I really go about developing the drawing. As you can see, it does take time. We're working with values, we're correcting shapes, we're going back and forth over soft and sharp edges and correcting those edges. Sometimes it looks right, but it's in the wrong place. Sometimes when you put something else down, you realize something else is wrong or something has to shift. And that's just the nature of drawing. That's why it's important to keep it at a very malleable, workable stage for a solid period of time, especially in the beginning, by doing light lines. Light but bold enough that you can see when squinting. And work on your construction so that you optimize your time. You're not detailing off the bat and then having to move that later. So as you can tell right here, I'm essentially breaking down the larger shapes with smaller shapes and adding their own value and line edge to them. And I'm in some cases I'm going across the form. In some cases I would be flowing with the form, like right here, something, you know, it's quite nice up in the cheek area, just going with this and then kind of putting little accents here where the form kind of comes up more into the face right here. Always downplay this piece right here. I'm not really gonna, I might lightly put that in, but always downplay that. That's a little tip for you guys. I know it's there, but that's the one thing that the Florence Academy, they said do not be accurate in value with that. Always downplay this one. Always downplay it. So don't make it as dark as you see it. Let's just sharpen the pencil again to get the detail up here, and at this point, assuming these large shapes are correct, which I have no doubt that they are, I am going to just simply accent certain areas here, not put all the detail in the world everywhere, but I'm looking very generally at the entire shape, and this is like a generally sharp edge, but it's still kind of soft, this piece. Same up here, but it does get a little bit sharper there. So we're just kind of putting these little accents here and there. This is going to be sharper here. And so the sharpness I don't always just get with the pencil, I get it also with the eraser, right? And so that's kind of what I do. There's actually a little piece that comes up there that I almost missed, but I didn't because I'm a genius. And then this is going to be a little bit softer here too. You can get away with a lot in the face and just almost slightly outlining parts of the shadow to get a nice impression, especially with a face this small. Normally the bridge of the nose up here, it's going to be a little bit sharper around this area right here, and then it's going to be softer as it falls down here because this is the fleshier part. So this part's going to be sharper right there, and then this right here is going to have some degree of sharpness to it, but not so much. This part right here is kind of coming out just a little bit, and this piece, I'm going to have to bring some light up into it, most likely. I'm going to darken that just a little bit, and I'm going to have to use the eraser to hatch out her left eyelid. There we go. There you go. Something like that. Soften this area. Redefine this part right here, which I lost. And again, you downplay that area. I almost destroyed it just now. And like I said, at this point, and this angle is incorrect, the lip was, I had it going like this. It should be kind of coming up like that. So these are the things that, like, again, all drawing is trying to keep it very basic and simple. Oh, the ear right here needs to come out just a little bit. I see that now, just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go, something like that. And I'm gonna bring this up to the value that I see, not to the paper, there we go. And now what I can do is step outside. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera, but bring that up, and I'll reshape the ear because I think I just gave her an elf ear. Contacts keep blurring. There we go. Okay, so elf ear. And look, if you lose the drawing, then you can easily, actually this does come in. What am I on, crack? Damn it! Okay, that comes in. I guess I thought that because, you know what, I don't know why I thought that. Just a little bit. There we go. So, guys, I mean, it's just a back and forth with all this stuff. So as you can tell, even this blocking stage, the refining stage, I am doing more refining at this point. Same here, damn. This kind of comes out just a little bit, and then we have this piece coming across like that, and then we have this kind of coming up. The shape is kind of cut off there, and then it kind of comes 1, 2, down like that. So I'm going to trim this piece here, trim that. So I'm looking at essentially the sunglasses look, right? I'm gonna bring this in just a little bit because it's too long. That's what she said. And so from here, I like doing a direction like this for the temple. And then kind of coming across, like you can do you want to be very light with this one. You don't want to make this too dark. You can overdo this very easily. Let's accent the hairline, which actually raises up just a slight bit. Just accent it some. I'm gonna bring it up just a slight bit. And then I am going to, this was going in that direction. This might be going kind of in that direction, but it's gonna be kind of coming down a little bit more, and maybe a little bit along the side right there. Just a little bit, okay? What the hell is that? Okay, so something like that, and then we have the marks going like that, and then you can also, this is quite nice, you can go across them like that. So the temple's 1, 2 going across, and then since we darken that, we can also come and darken the hair. And sometimes when we shade, we lose the drawing a little bit, so we can go back and kind of rehatch parts of that drawing in just a little bit, put a little accent in, that kind of gives it a nice touch. Let's denote the jawline just a little bit. We don't want to overdo this. Most people make it so the head's just floating. Don't do that. Just squint down and look at values. So the chin's going to be about this low, and this is going to be a little bit darker right here, and then there's going to be a little bit of a bump right here because that is around the pit of the neck. That is the clavicles where they're meeting. So you can put kind of that little bump right there, and we can darken that. So we're in essence sculpting the chin and the neck at the same time without going and outlining it, which is quite nice. And from here we can continue to accent things. There's a slight, the collarbone kind of goes up just a little bit right there. And so from here we can continue to work the edges and everything, the outside, and start cleaning the lines up. So guys, at this point, for fear of the video going on too long, what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on this a little bit more, time lapse it forward to the very end. I'll show it there for you guys for a second, and I might do a quick explanation of everything, but you get the idea at this point. This is how I work it up, and I just continuously darken it, correct everything. Sometimes I'll just redraw, like for example the arm. I might go through and redraw the arm because I don't like the way I did it, but it's erasable. All right, so second time lapse, 3, 2, 1, go. And so ends part 2 of 3. We will continue in the next video. So until next time, I am Louis Gadetti. And remember, money is the most important thing in life, and there is no such thing as love.